Alright, in the upper left in the yellow, we got the runner-up of the summer season. It is CrunCher. And the bottom right, same clan, but different race as the undead in red. It's Duck. Alright, kinda rare to see this matchup on this very map. So, what can we expect?
Well, we're already seeing a Crypt Lord, which honestly, I was not expecting from Duck. I've played Duck quite a few times on this map. He typically still likes to go for DK, even though it's not favored. But maybe against CrunCher, he doesn't think he has a chance going DK first, especially if it is an MK, and it is an MK. So we're going to see the Crypt Lord versus MK opening, which is, in my opinion, quite a treat. It's very interesting to see, you know, what players do after they've crept their expansions. And a lot of it comes down to hero levels and, you know, army compositions. The human has to react a lot of times to what the undead player is doing. So I'm curious what Duck has learned, which style he's going to be going for. Is he going for the Frostworm style? Is he going for the mass, you know, just standard Fiend Banshee? Or is he going to go for some kind of Gargoyle in?
Exactly. On this map, Gargs could be really good if CrunCher decides to expand. You can just fly over the river, cancel towers, kill peasants. Should be a good game plan. I've seen Mountain King first in the German league when the Crypt Lord was hype in Europe, and some people said, okay, there's a lot of units. I have a spell that has no damage cap, so let's go for Clap, and it failed miserably. Is that the way to go, or is there another idea?
I mean, Clap is the way to go for sure. If you go MK, you have an opportunity to get a level 5 MK. And at level 5 MK, what happens is suddenly Fiends and Banshees are not very good anymore. The problem is MK has a harder time in the mid game. Archmage obviously has water elementals, and level 3 Archmage is very good against Gargs, but MK, not so much. It's kind of like if you do an MK expand against Orc, they typically go Wyverns. So I do think it's very weak against Gargs. But I do think going into the late game, MK first is probably a bit stronger than Archmage, but you just have to get there.
I definitely agree. Another problem with the Mountain King is, of course, how do you get mana for all your units, for casters, for the Mountain King himself, as there's no Brilliance Aura? The answer down the road might be Blood Mage second?
So Blood Mage second is something that a lot of people were trying, but the problem is that your MK really takes a lot of damage in the fights, and if he gets impaled and focused down a bit, then he ends up getting pushed out of the fight, and he can't sit there and clap. So I've talked with CrunCher about this before, and he prefers to go Paladin second. So I'm not sure what he's going to do, because you're only going to get one hero to level 3. It's going to be like 5-3-1 or 5-3-2. Into the late game. So it's a question of which hero what do you want? Do you want HP or do you want mana? Blood Mage is really strong, but Paladin's also really good too. And then you could just buy a lot of mana pots. So I'm not sure what he's going to go.
It's really cool, as this is something we really rarely see. So let's see how this game unfolds. If the problem is damage on the Mountain King, well, this inventory kind of fixes it already.
Yeah, I mean, the Gauntlets of Strength are good. Potion of Invulnerability is pretty good. Talisman's okay. He obviously wanted Mana Pot, but, you know, let's see what kind of damage he can get done here.
Quite a bit.
Maybe he can get a cancel.
First ghoul already down. The Acolytes were scouting for this, so he had quite some time to react, Duck had. And we do have Impale. There's not too many corpses to use, so only very limited amount of beetles. Good Impale, though, and that's the first Berserker going down.
And that's really big. Berserkers are level 4. They give a lot of experience. So, I mean, it's all about Crypt Lord levels versus MK levels, and Crypt Lord is slightly ahead here. This movement across the map means he wasn't creeping something else, but it also means he's pulling Duck back to his base. Obviously, he was looking for a timing to cancel the Haunted Gold Mine. He walked in. He saw he wasn't going to be able to get the cancel. He saw the Crypt Lord was already here, and he tried to back up. Really, the key was saving the Berserker. Unfortunately, he did lose it, so that's a big loss for CrunCher already.
Okay, but there is... Wait, is it Clap 2 or Stormbolt 2? Should be Clap 2. So with that, yep, creeping this is rather easy, but man, they're so close to each other. Scroll of the Beast for Duck. That could lead to a lot of damage. And he's being found here. Man, this lap today causes some creep checks.
I don't know if this is smart to jack him, but maybe it is. If you can kill all the footmen and you can kill the Shadow Priest, then the MK can't creep anything anymore. But the problem is that he was already finished with the creep camp by the time he got here.
Last hit goes to CrunCher, even after the impale, but the item goes to the Crypt Lord, and that is Rune Bracers. Very good against the potential Stormbolt down the road. So if you can keep this Berserker up and this Ghoul, and it definitely is the case, then it's not too bad. CrunCher didn't even tech yet.
I think this is one of the best items you can possibly get against human typically, because there's a lot of hero nuke, especially if it's a Paladin second and not a Blood Mage second. So this tech from CrunCher is actually really, really late. I'm very surprised at why it's so late. It looks like he went for building a lot of extra footmen as opposed to teching earlier. But, you know, maybe he knows something that I don't in terms of trying to creep the map faster as opposed to getting your tech out. But a lot of times when you see MK versus Crypt Lord, you're also comparing DK levels versus Paladin or Blood Mage levels. And the DK wants to get level 3. There has to be enough creeps left on the map. So a later tech means more of the map is crept by the time your second hero gets out. And if you can't get your second hero to level 3, and you can't get your first hero to level 5, then you're going to be in a bad spot.
Very good point indeed. And there's like close to the main base, not too much to creep anymore. Of course, he's saving the shop for now, so that's going to be something for the DK. But apart from that, not too much. So we have Shredders on both sides. Maybe that's the reason for the delayed tech, at least for CrunCher. And we have a Zeppelin attack.
Yeah, I mean, the Shredder is 100% necessary, especially, I mean, for both players, because you're going tier 3, you're going for a lot of units, you're going for a lot of tech, you're going for a lot of upgrades. The Zeppelin drop, oh man, this could be really bad timing for... It's probably going to force a TP.
Nice. It was a nice wall off here, not too much surface on the Town Hall, but he just wants the Peasant stat, and there's only an Arcane Tower ready. There's lots of damage to CrunCher so far. And yeah,
oh, and he doesn't get the Crypt Fiend before he TP's out. There was a Crypt Fiend that was out of position that he Stormbolted, but he realized he needed a TP faster than that. And I think his delayed TP is going to cost him a lot because, like, we're going to watch the gold mine in a minute. Like, it's 10,700 left for Duck and 11,450 left for CrunCher, and it's going to continue to increase as there's only 2 peasants on gold right now. Wow. And you really need to be mining gold consistently because you want to have like 2,000 banked by the time you get to tier 3, and I don't think he's going to be able to get that anymore with all these peasant losses.
Oh yeah, really good attack, man. They know each other inside out, as you said before. Double level 4 now, lots of mana still on this Crypt Lord. Stormbolt might get 1 kill, as you said, gives a lot of experience. And there's the kill right here. Yeah, this is a high XP game so far. I like the Ziggurats by Duck, might give some vision, might be upgraded to towers later, so if CrunCher decides to go for air or threatens some Zeppelin drops himself, then this will be easily scouted and punished.
Yeah, so Duck is actually going into double Slaughterhouse, which is interesting. Obviously, he's already abandoned trying to go the Garg route, so he's going to be going for some kind of stronger late game army as opposed to any kind of push. I think that's a good choice. CrunCher in general tends to be very good against any kind of Garg push. He always gets his towers up in time. But I'm curious what the final unit comp is going to be. Is he going to add Frostworms at all to this army? Is he going to add Banshees to the army? We don't know yet, but it looks like it's just going to be Fiends and Destroyers and Statues at the moment.
Okay, and they will be facing a Blood Mage. There is going to be some Siphon mana action. But yeah, as you pointed out, kind of hard to get him up to 3. 3 creep spots in the north, 4 maybe. Same.
This MK is really high level though, so this is actually pretty good. It's surprising that the MK has been able to creep so much. And the closer the MK gets to level 5, the better it is for the human player. Level 5 is really the key. It's kind of like in Orc versus Human, you know, level 3 MK, and then whoever gets level 5 first, TC versus MK. And in this game, it's level 5. And this DK might be going down? No?
Nope. This Zeppelin has really paid off. Uh-oh.
But Crippler's out of position now, so he's going to have to come back and probably TP.
Yeah, and then he's going to fall. Oh, no!
Oh, my God, no!
Disaster!
Oh, no.
Absolute disaster. Oh, this game wasn't too bad.
No, Duck was so far ahead. In my opinion, Duck was still pretty far ahead here. Oh, no.
Like a little rage quit. Oh no, Carson, explain this to us.
It's not a rage quit because he didn't have a TP on the Cripplord. The Cripplord was gonna die after because the TP was on the DK.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that was. It wasn't too bad for him though. Maybe you just the TP was on the DK, right? So
Yeah.
you just TP out immediately. He tried to get a little bit fancy. So maybe, I mean, it was pretty bad losing both heroes and everything in the Zeppelin too, but I don't think it was over still. He had his double slaughterhouse coming up. He would have been pumping production. The early game went very well for Duck. And man, that's rough. That's
really
rough.
unfortunate.
I think he shouldn't have gone so. Like you said, he styled. He was trying to save everything with the Zeppelin. The Zeppelin was low HP. Don't do it. Just TP. Go creep the bottom left side of the map. Yeah. Try to throw up maybe another expansion. You already had really good hero levels. You've crept a good amount of the map. It's really hard for the Blood Mage to get level 3. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great play, right? You just TP to your expansion. You immediately go to the bottom left of the map and take that gold mine. That would have been a perfect play. CrunCher would be totally out of position to contest any of those camps, and you have your army in no time after that as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so rough to come back from this now. When the start was so good, maybe you're a little nervous. There's not too much experience on Duck, obviously, in these competitions. He says in the lobby, lol, this keyboard is impossible. Okay. Yeah, maybe not the greatest setup. Didn't Duck have his wisdom teeth removed last time, and that was the excuse? Every single season. He should just plan this better.
It's NA for you, man. It's NA.
Yeah, I mean, I understand him at the same time. It's really hard to play when you have a new setup. Yeah. I mean, I'm on a new setup right now, and it feels like, I don't know, it feels like you've been in a coma for like a month, and you come out and you can barely walk anymore, you know? But I don't know. Yeah, you should plan better for these big tournaments. I agree.
I mean, it's a Warcraft tournament. Maybe understandable, but yeah, I feel you too. I got a new mouse yesterday, and I fuck up observing. Oh, I'm not supposed to. Anyway, I made some mistakes at observing today. So yeah, I definitely feel you guys. Maybe Last Refuge is gonna be better. We're loading in. Well, I guess for an LA broadcast, this was still okay. So, in the bottom left, great game 1, but then a little too confident, and disaster strikes. It's Duck. His opponent, upper right in the yellow. Maybe I got a little gift over there. It's CrunCher. So, judging from the builds we see, this is gonna be a very different game.
It's standard. It's just standard. So, let's see who plays standard better. And honestly, I don't know anyone who plays better standard than CrunCher and Hitman in the region, and maybe outside the region as well. CrunCher's control is super perfect. His macro tends to be perfect. You know, I'm planning on learning some things from this game myself. You know, he's let's see what Duck has to offer. Although this map can be very good for the DK harass. It's very close to the base. It's hard to wall it off properly. You can get a lot of damage done. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, usually we see an expansion here, of course, upper left for CrunCher, and then it's very pushable. It's not the biggest base-to-base distance, but yeah, as you said, Duck already rushing over. The trolls are a little bit, I don't know, distracted? Whatever that is. CrunCher creeps this ring for him, but this already corpses thanks to the Acolyte.
Yeah, that's unfortunate you got a ring. I think in the beginning, early game claws are just so important here because your Archmage should be focusing down the Death Knight, and the faster you can get his HP pool down, the faster you can finish the camp and not let him steal it. It's usually 2 footmen plus an Archmage attacks the Death Knight while you're creeping the expansion, and if you have the claws, it's hard for the Death Knight.
Yeah.
But if you have the ring, he's like, no big deal.
Yeah, he's not attacking him anyway, so he's just focusing on footmen and creeps. Speaking of creeps, in this triangle here, the creeps can be a little wild, and we saw that already. The trolls moving to the south, the murlocs getting involved. This is kind of hard to predict, and Duck is playing with that fact, trying to distract and delay CrunCher a little.
Yeah, Duck is really good at this on this map. He's really good at trying to pull the creeps and be really, really annoying, especially once the militia get pulled to come over. He typically likes to try to pull the merc camp to try to intercept them.
Oh, speaking of intersecting, there's a lot of militia. Can they just surround this DK? I'm not too sure. We casted a qualifier game. I think it was Duck that he kind of lost in 4 minutes or something, thanks to some creeps that went horribly wrong. So yeah, he's definitely the kind of guy for some disaster in games.
NA is definitely, outside of Hitman and CrunCher, not very known for being consistent in their play. But so far, he's done okay, although the Death Knight has taken a little bit more damage than typical. And CrunCher's actually going for the Blue Ogre a little early, and that means Duck should be able to get the steal as long as he puts a couple of skeletons on it. But his Crit Fiend's really low already.
Yeah, CrunCher reacting with 2 footmen immediately onto the Fiend, and he used some coils already, so it's not like he has a fan of coils or something that he can throw. And the Ogre should be going to CrunCher, but Duck comes back in from downtown, baby. Gets that.
No, this is actually quite a big mistake from CrunCher. To have put so much damage on the Ogre before he was able to push the Death Knight back. I don't think he meant to. I think he just slipped up a little bit on controlling the army and following where the Death Knight position was. But, is the Death Knight? Okay, no, his footman control was a little off there as well. But he hasn't lost any peasants, and that's really, really key here as well. Even if you lose the Blue Ogre, this was an instant harass. The DK still is level 1. So that's the first peasant going down, but that's not a lot. It's really about economic damage. And if you look at CrunCher, he's got 5, just now 6 peasants on wood on his main. He has 325 wood, so he can tech basically right now. Yeah. Typically, a lot of humans like to tech after 7 peasants, though, so I think he's going to tech immediately after this next peasant finishes.
He didn't weather the storm yet, though, as we get the Lich, we get new Fiends, and we get the tier 3 tech soon. I was a little curious about this base build by Duck before, as the Ziggurat is so far forward, and the entrance here is a little walled off. I wonder if he has a plan to creep the lab with that or something.
That would be pretty cool if he did that. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really seen too many undeads trying to pull the lab and then creep it with like the slow tower. Maybe.
Yeah, Hate Love Anger did that in like 2015 or something as a first creep spot. That was pretty neat, but nobody really followed up on that.
So the problem right now is the Death Knight's low HP, so he can't apply any pressure. So CrunCher knows that he's got plenty of time. And the other thing is that now CrunCher's level 3. It's always the shop. So he's coming over to jack the shop, and the Death Knight's low, so he has to constantly back up. But he has a decent amount of mana, but he's very, very far from level 3, which is the problem with instant harass. If you instant harass and you don't get a lot done, it's too long to get level 3, and you need to get level 3 Death Knight in order for this mid game to be strong. And now we're seeing the pains of what happened is that CrunCher didn't lose very much.
Yeah, and the statue might be a little late as well, so he can't really heal. He is under pressure now, and that shouldn't be the case at all. You should be right in the human's face. You should be at his expansion. You should be using the Novas and the coils and the skeletons to reduce the number of peasants once again, while the statue is healing you up. But statue was a little late, maybe only joining in now. And CrunCher is buying a lot of time.
Player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, I mean, now that there's 4 fiends, now that there's a statue, it's likely he's able to continue creeping. Now, once these water elementals run out, once the Archmage is out of mana, he'll have to back up, and then the undead can finally creep freely. But until then, there's a lot of pressure. And so here's the pressure. Now we'll see CrunCher back up. We'll see Duck finish this camp. But CrunCher's position's good. His tier 2's almost done. He's got towers. He's got a good SimCity.
And he also got the defense ready, so if he wants to, he can contest this even more as the Fiends barely do any damage anymore. He's threatening that, and he's buying so much time. Is he willing to invest Coil Nova? Okay, doesn't need to. Tier 3 is about to be ready. Scroll of the Beast. Maybe there is a big push in him. He sells
Scroll
the
of the Beast is a great item.
Yeah, he sold it.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. maybe did he need the money? Not necessarily, right? I mean, the orb costs a lot. We all know that, but
you know what? Maybe he. It's about right. He has 200 golds. It doesn't look like he really needed it.
Okay, CrunCher's contesting this. Orb on the DK needs to pass it. First, Nova's hitting the Archmage, or was hitting the Archmage. She's chasing him now with the DK while the Fiends are fighting. But CrunCher, the madman, goes for the Lich Surround at the Tavern.
Is he going to be able to break out? I doubt it, as long as CrunCher puts the Footman in front. But there are a couple more coils, but the Death Knight is still not level 3. I think he breaks out here, though, and CrunCher ends up sacking a lot of Footmen just to try to kill a single target. The problem is, once the Lich has Frost Armor, the Footman DPS is just so low, there's almost no point. And by the way, we see a Meat Wagon. This is a very uncommon strat these days, is to go for the Meat Wagon push.
And don't you want to build this Meat Wagon on tier 2 and go for an all-in push without tier 3? And rather on tier 3 push with Destroyers?
Yeah, because if you go tier 3, your sieging is the Pit Lord. You have Pit Lord plus Nova plus Destroyers, and then that's fine. If you're going for Meat Wagons, yes, it's typically tier 2, but you need a level 3 DK first. So, like, his whole strategy seems to be not quite put together correctly. Like, if you want to go for a tier 2 push, you probably want to creep level 2 DK first, then go to your harass, then come back at level 3 DK, and then do the push, because then you've got a lot of pressure with the level 3 DK. So, I don't know.
Well, maybe he's going to prove us wrong. Maybe it is working out, but judging from the snipe here as the Mountain King is arriving to the battle, first Fiend down, doesn't seem to be the case. You can, of course, afford to lose Footman. That's... I don't want to say that's what you want, but you want a free supply and get breakers for it. And this Archmage and Water Elementals are constantly pressuring the Meat Wagon, and he's not doing a single shot to the building so far.
Yeah, I think there was actually one shot. He had one shot on this guard tower in the middle.
Oh.
So the Meat Wagon was not worth it at all. And then going for a push like this, you don't want to have a Dark Ranger. There's not a lot of pressure on the peasants. So the human doesn't have to scramble to try to even worry about it. You're just slow attacking a town hall.
He's towering him.
I don't see this working.
I mean,
unfortunately for Doug.
Is it silence or black arrow? It's silence, right? Okay, if there's black arrow, I could see the synergy of attacking the peasants with the disease cloud. Let them lower down to, like, I don't know, whatever HP they get, and then get black arrow on all of them and have the swarm of skeletons.
That's a pretty cool idea.
I know, I'm
At the
smart.
same time, Pit Lord 1 Rain of Fire just kills everything.
Yeah, that's kind of also very true. But the Pit Lord doesn't have silence as a second spell. That might be useful down the road, you know? I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of it.
If you're pushing, you're all inning, right? Like, I don't know. Anyway, we can ask him afterwards if it works out. We'll ask him and see what his plan was. But CrunCher's solidly on tier 3. He has 3 breakers. He's got a knight. He's got a second knight coming. He does the second knight before Sundering Blades, which I think is good. He's building a tank. I guess it's because, hey, look, there's towers next to my base. I'm just going to tank it.
Yeah. Oh, the Dark Ranger. We won't see a silence or a black arrow. Okay, we see the silence, but we won't see a black arrow. Boom, down she goes. Tower is up.
Okay, so he is going for the Meat Wagon for the disease cloud, which I guess is actually a pretty interesting play. He can disease cloud all the peasants, as you were saying, and then maybe if he gets a level 2, you know, or maybe it's a single Nova and it kills them all.
Okay, Duck innovating the tier 3 push against human. Okay, right. Maybe CrunCher doesn't really know how to react. Usually he should just level a lot and then you should be able to win the fight. There's no destroyers as far as I can see. Didn't go for the upgrade.
Yeah, and there's also already a second tank. So as soon as the second tank comes out, I think he's going to call all of his militia and he's just going to push. And he's going to push it down very, very easily. There's not a lot of units here. The levels are almost equal between the human and undead.
Do you see the slaughter at the peasants here? They're all splattering to pieces.
That's true. Hey, maybe it paid for itself.
And yeah, disease cloud spread on the human army that might work out in the end. We'll see. The tank is designed to kill the Nerubian tower here. Militia flanking the meat wagon on the left-hand side. The fight is all over the place. Militia helping out. Knights are going for the fiends. Where's the undead damage? Nice coil across the board. Paladin in a little bit of trouble. There's a shop though, so potion should be ready. Lich in a world of trouble as well. Needs coils, but a lot of things needs coils here.
Yeah, I mean, the Abomination's about to go down. The tower's about to go down. CrunCher at 63 food, Duck at 56. So actually, CrunCher's lost quite a bit of food there because he started this fight over 70. But Duck, all right, losing the Abomination. He's going to lose a Fiend, another Abomination. All right, I mean, he's running out of stuff. He lost a Statue, Abomination, another Fiend going down. Yeah, I think that's spelling the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I agree. The powerful human tier 3. Say so was right all along.
Oh no, don't say that. He's gonna be talking about this forever. Neo said I was right, guys. Therefore, human is equal to undead.
Maybe I'm not the judge in this one. GG. CrunCher takes the 2-0 victory.